Good morning. Welcome to a special Christmas edition of CBS 58 Sunday Morning.
You wanted some Matchbox cars and some Nintendo Switches, but not a light switch, a Nintendo Switch, correct? And you wanted an Xbox, but it's not a box with an X on it.
Nope.
It's actually a video game and the Madden 2019 system.
Yep.
Okay.
Talk about the daily demands of this man's job. And it's always this time of December at the mall, like Brookfield Square. He's got to please a lot of people.
Powered wheels and Boca Trail car and Hot Wheels. A Major Nurse car.
What made that so special to you? Why?
I don't have it.
Of course, he doesn't ask a lot from us in return, does he?
Oh, fingers out of your mouth. Gotta come right down in your lap.
Don't pick your nose.
Can we make sure there's milk and cookies out? Okay. And I got a reindeer. Who's the one with the big red nose? Rudolph, right? So Dasher, there's Dancer, there's Prancer, there's Vixen, there's Comet, Cupid, Donner, and Blitzen. Can we make sure there's some carrots or something on the phone too?
Can you say Merry Christmas, cheese?
Okay, now we've gotten to the part of the story you might want to plug your ears, or at least your child's.
Keep at the camera.
Yep, big smile. Okay, here we go.
John Roots, a.k.a. Old St. Nick, knows his role very well. He's played this part for 7 years and always has just the right question to ask.
What do you want for Christmas?
I decided to catch up with this 46-year-old from New Berlin earlier in the fall when he was undergoing a beard bleach of sorts as he got himself in character.
You're physically from, like, I start growing my hair in July, and into the week I'm going to look like I'm 70 years old, and I'm 46.
We got the clean room. 12 days. Make sure you help Mom as much as possible, okay?
12 days. Room clean.
Room clean. When you get home tonight, you're going to clean that room.
I'll try because I got lots of home.
Clean room means better gifts, maybe?
I don't know. It means that Mom is just happier, and that's really what it's all about, right?
Right.
Of course.
So many German holiday traditions are on display at Milwaukee's newest tradition, the Christkindl Market in the Pfizer Forum Plaza. Sausage, beer, and Weihnachtskirche, or Christmas pickles. They've got more Christmas pickles than any other kind of ornament in the Katie Wolfhard tent at the market. According to legend, it's an old German tradition.
The story of the pickles is that you put it on a Christmas tree.
It's the last ornament to go on the tree. It's hidden in the tree.
Supposedly, the child that finds it gets a special treat or a toy the next day.
But there's a bit of schnitzel to that story.
But I had German parents. We never had a pickle on our tree. But we have one now.
Apparently, most people in Germany had never even heard of it. A 2016 New York Times article quoted a survey that 91% of actual Germans had no idea what a Christmas pickle was.
From what I've heard, it's not really a German tradition, it's more of a Milwaukee tradition.
Or at least a German-American tradition.
John Beasley sits in a waiting room at Aurora West Allis Medical Center.
My wife, she's having surgery today.
As he waits,
it's dreadful because then you don't know what's going on.
A surprise delivery.
Good morning. I'm a volunteer cookie baker. I have oatmeal raisin and chocolate chip cookies this morning. Chocolate chip it is.
John is one of dozens of family members and patients who get hand-delivered a fresh, warm cookie every day at the hospital by a volunteer like Virginia Wilms.
Oh, the smile on people's faces when you walk in the room and they say, "Oh, the cookie lady's here." It brings joy to people.
Just like Martha May Huvier and Betty Lou Who and How the Grinch Stole Christmas, two homeowners in Washington County have taken holiday decorating to the next level. Jacqueline Abad takes us to Highland Road in Jackson to show us their spectacular light displays and asks, is it really a festive feud?
When the sun comes down, the lights come on.
Started small and it keeps growing every year.
Randy Vels' lights sync to true holiday classics. It took about 40 to 50 hours to put all these lights up.
Randy's been decorating his house for the last 17 years here on Highland Road, but for the last 14, he's been keeping a close eye on his neighbor across the street.
This is where Mike Trahan lives.
Last couple of years, I've kind of stepped it up.
And if you're not into Christmas music, Mike has you covered.
I've got the radio station. I think that's the neatest thing. You can stay in your car and listen to it. You can also listen outside too. I have an external speaker that you can listen to the sounds dance with the lights there.
For Randy and Mike, it's a friendly competition that all get to enjoy.
Probably a little competitiveness when you look across the street and I do see it and he looks at mine, and you want to do a little more.
Every year they each add something new.
A little train right next to the driveway.
This year I added some green lights, made some little tiny green trees.
The neighbors have noticed, and so have the police.
Well, I make it a point to travel down here at least once after the sun goes down.
Jackson Police Department officer Jenny Gerke took this video and posted it on Facebook.
Well, if they're actually feuding, they're doing a really good job, and they usually end it by December, just once a year for a month. And I just kind of did a funny post just to showcase their work and their dedication, because it takes a lot of time for them to put something like this up.
While both say it's not a feud, every December they admire each other's work from the other side of the street.
Wacky Wheeler over and out!
That was the final spin for Melvin the Wacky Wheeler, a Wisconsin parade staple for 18 years.
Merry Christmas, guys!
His last performance was the second leg of a rain-soaked, what was supposed to be triple header of Wisconsin Christmas parades in Elkhorn, then New Berlin. Port Washington was supposed to be his final show, and they were ready for it, asking people to bring signs and give him a big send-off, but that driving rain forced its cancellation. After crossing the finish line in New Berlin, the Wacky Wheeler felt
elated that I'm not going to go out and do this in this kind of weather anymore.
He wraps up one heck of a unique career. Melvin is the alter ego. The man is Rob Summerbell of Madison.
I'm the world's only Wacky Wheeler, and have been for the past 18 years. I consider my job to go out and spread joy and whimsy in the communities that I go to.
He grew up skateboarding, then started into trapeze, and one day he met someone new at a Cirque du Soleil show.
He was their German wheel artist, and I stood on his wheel for all of 15 seconds, and I fell in love that moment, and I said, oh, I gotta get one of these.
Except German wheels were tough to come by at the time. Then came a fateful walk through the junkyard behind his house.
And one day there was these 10 cable reels sitting there, and somehow I connected the dots. I just started messing around on it, and it turned into something unexpectedly.
He's used that same reel for 18 years.
I didn't change any of the welds on it at all. This is exactly how I found it.
Plus the holly. He decorates it based on the season. At his peak, he did 90 events a year, usually doing 6 in our area every 4th of July, which is a feat in itself. He's performed in Texas and Florida, even Washington, D.C. That wheel is 350 pounds.
Which is, quite incredible to push up hills, and also quite incredible to control going down hills.
It's hard work, and at 56, even in great shape, Rob knew Melvin's time was coming up.
The knees talk to me near daily about wrapping it up. It's just a fact that I'm aging out of being able to do it.
Oh, wow.
Christmas Eve 2017, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak whose work ethic is second to none, is where else?
Cross, between, behind the back.
At the Bucks practice facility. But instead of sharpening his ball handling and shooting skills,
we got Alex in the building. We got Kostas in the building.
The Bucks superstar is spending some quality family time with his younger brothers.
Oh, ooh.
And sharing it on Instagram Live with thousands of followers. While we're not sure what's on the Greek Freak's Christmas dinner menu, we can provide you with a taste of a holiday table setting from centuries ago. Whitney Martin is with a historian from the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee who wrote the book on the Christmas medieval feast.
Weeks before the ball drops into 2019, we're taking a trip back to the medieval times, to the Middle Ages, when Christmas dinner was served right in the middle of the day.
Ladies were expected to eat daintily and sparingly and not to stuff themselves. Gentlemen were expected to eat well and to enjoy it.
Martha Carlin is a professor of history at UWM, an expert in medieval foods. She's recreating a holiday meal, setting the table and the scene for us.
Only the very elite members of the household and very elite visitors
got the high table treatment and got the elite service.
Who would that be typically?
It would be the lord and lady of the household, and the lord and lady could be very grand aristocrats, they could be wealthy merchants.
Think of it like a wedding, only the people at the bottom of the hall were lower class. The lower the class, the lower the quality of food. Carlin giving us an example of both meals.
First 2 courses were served to everybody, whether they were high or low. And most of the people who ate in great households were servants and humble guests and people of low status.
The first 2 courses look like this. Bread, thicker for the rich, thinner for the others, followed by tray douce or golden soup. It's made of chicken broth, thickened with crumbs and lemon juice, a rarity in the Middle Ages.
We're going to put an egg in this bowl. We're going to put some spices in the bowl.
My name is Ellis 2 Andrew Smith. I'm currently deployed with the USS Rushmore, and I just want to say to my lovely wife back home, Joy, and my 2 kids, Emery and Andrew, and all of my family back home in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Merry Christmas to you, and Happy New Year. I love all y'all.